It is a pleasure to invite Mr. Arijit Basu, Managing Director Veedol, who's our next expert speaker. Mr. Arijit Basu, Managing Director of Veedol Corporation Limited, is a seasoned business leader with over 25 years of experience. And IIM Calcutta alumnus, he progressed from sales trainee to leadership roles, including Managing Director at Sika India, before joining Veedol in 2020. Welcome, sir.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Very pleased to be here, and I think on a very hectic day for me, I am speaking about influencers, marketing, gives me a little bit of respite because it's very close to my heart. So what I have heard so far from the speakers, and genuinely very entertaining and very unique way of the first speaker's presentation on storytelling, and the next speaker spoke about very fundamental but very important areas of influencing marketing and influencers as such in today's marketing world. So what I will try to do is I will like to give my perspective, but at the same time I think it will resonate a lot with majority of the speakers' views and perspectives. So to begin with, I think we must address the elephant in the room when it comes to marketing, when it comes to influencers, and the elephant in the room, in my view, is the consumer, is the customer. So let's understand, or let's possibly look into how the consumers are changing in today's constantly evolving marketing landscape. So I think if we see in India specifically, the consumers are very hyper connected nowadays. They are very highly information rich, and of course Internet of Things have given that power to our consumers. I still remember, when I started my career in sales and marketing as a trainee, I used to go to the customer, and my boss told me that, don't worry, you know you are a trainee, but does your customer know you are a trainee? So that was the level of confidence I got. But when I went out there, I found that there is a lot which I can actually learn about my products and pass on to the customer, because there was a need in customer side to learn. But in today's context, when a sales or marketing person reach out to a consumer or a customer, the customer is already rich with information about the subject, products, technology. So it is very important to understand in that kind of a context, how do marketeers look at things? It cannot be in the exactly same way like a couple of decades back. So yes, the consumers of today are information rich, very well aware, and they are also seeking authentic, personalized experiences. So they are not any more happy with only a product or a good service, but they are looking for good experiences. They are looking for something which connects to their mind, to their choices, and it is like taking back a memory, At the same time, they are also quite skeptical about traditional way of brands reaching out and trying to entice. What does that mean is, I can give you one example. Very recently it went very viral. One shop in I think Lindsay Street called Sultan. Every one of us must have seen that print ad where they gave a first page ad of a missing boy called Majnu, and then the parents say that I accept both your demands. If you remember that ad, it was a very innovative way of communicating about sherwanis and kurtas for marriage. Same way, if you remember again in the recent past, the Zomato ad for fastest delivery, blah blah, which went or got severe flack from the consumers because they felt that there was an ignorance from the brand part in terms of safety and in terms of the safety of the delivery boys as well, when they were pushing for a communication where speed was something which they were trying to project as their USP. What I'm trying to say here is the consumers of today are very skeptical. They look at things in a much more, I would say, skeptical and much more critical manner when it comes to any consumer accepting a brand communication. So, in our aspiration to be innovative, we need to keep a balance between the risk of communication as well. And I'll come a little bit later about the AI side of the thing as well, which I think is relevant in today's context. So, the speaker spoke about the choice the brand has to make in terms of selecting the influencer, right? I think the previous speaker touched upon it, and I really like that point, that it cannot be transactional. There has to be a strategic element, there has to be a long-term thought process when you are selecting a particular influencer. And in that aspect, I think there are few things which a brand or an organization needs to keep in mind when the selection is happening. Because an effective influencer is not merely a talking point or a communication mode or a megaphone for your brand. They are actually a strategic partner who can humanize your brand, who can provide relatable memories, narratives, create an emotional connection, extend your brand reach. So I can share one example. I did not want to play the video because it is from my own company, and this is not a platform where I would like to share that. But of course, anybody can later check it on YouTube or on the net. Recently, Veedol, which is a lubricant company, we launched a campaign which was called hashtag Rakhe Saaf Dil Se. And if you see the campaign online, the videos, you can relate that when it comes to a product like lubricants, which goes into your automotive engine, which is not a very fancy, jazzy product, the real influencer is the mechanic. The consumer depends a lot on the professional, who is a garage mechanic, right? But when it comes to a communication, if you would see that video, you would realize how Veedol as a brand connects the influencer, giving him a position of purity, transparency, honesty, and through that creates a connection with the consumer. And that's what is Rakhe Saaf Dil Se. It is basically talking about keeping your vehicle clean, but then the narrative is from the dil. So I think the choice needs to be in line with the value of the brand. How you can associate with a strategic partner to communicate the brand value is very, very critical in my view. And if you don't, then you run the risk of getting your communication misread, misinterpreted, and at times not accepted by your customer. Last but not the least, I think I need to speak a bit about AI because everybody talks about AI. But in my view, I don't believe that in the game of marketing, human angle will ever die. This is my firm belief. And what technology, AI, including big data, everything can help you create is enhance and make you more capable of that human connection. So do not have this fancy when you are thinking of a brand marketing influencer strategy that if I have AI into my plan of things, things can get better. It can actually get non-human, stale, very mechanical, and hence it will possibly do less than what your even traditional campaign could. So my earnest suggestion is, when it comes to, in today's context, being ahead or in the game of marketing, game of influencing, I think I'll possibly just share because storytelling was part of today's sessions, and it's a very you know I mean, I like this story a lot. I heard this from one of my bosses long back at the beginning of my career. I think all of us know Johnson and Johnson and the great Sherlock Holmes, right? So Sherlock Holmes had a very popular partner called Mr. Watson, we all know. So once Sherlock Holmes and Watson, they were on a trekking trip, and they were going on trekking, came by a riverside. It was, day was kind of coming to an end, night was approaching. So they decided that they should put up their tent, take rest for the night, and start next day. So the tent was made, and it was a very beautiful, clear sky, moonlight, stars, nice breeze. Both of them were lying down inside the tent, side by side. And after a few minutes, Sherlock Holmes asks Watson, that Watson, what do you think this year the cultivation would be? How do you think the farming would be? Watson was very excited. Boss has asked me such a intelligent question, and I must reply in a best possible, creative and best way. So he thought for some time, looked around here, there, while lying down, and then he started saying to Sherlock Holmes that looking at this clear sky, star full of and moonlight and everything, I think the weather will be great going forward. We should get also good rains, and I think the crops will be great this year. Sherlock Holmes said, wow, Watson, great reply. But I think you are missing the basic. What's that? Somebody has stolen our tent. So, I think when it comes to marketing, influencing, the most simple advice I would like to share from my experience is that staying and sticking to basics is the most difficult job. Don't get carried away. Understand your own value proposition, your own brands and companies' value. And at the end of the day, communicate honestly. Thank you very much, everyone. And I wish I could have stayed long back here, but I have to make a move. So I seek your permission today, and enjoy the sessions rest of the day. Thank you very much.